Everybody, it is King here, and here we are on number 8 for the Premier Draft Crimson Vow Race to Mythic series we're doing here. We're going to see how many drafts it takes us to get to Mythic, and yeah, let's dive on in. Okay, here we open this first pack, and before we get started here, I'd just like to say if you like this channel, please subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos. I upload a video every single day until I hit Mythic, and after that we'll see. I'm probably going to focus on TikTok after that a little bit. Still going to be uploading, but not as often. So diving right on in here. We have a rare land, some uncommons that are pretty good. The best is definitely this Visionary. Grizzly Ritual is probably the next best card. I think I'm going to slam this Visionary and be happy about it. Nothing else really stands out to me. Yeah, let's go ahead and slam this bad boy. Okay, so an uncommon was taken. Nothing too great here. Assistance okay. I've never really been impressed. I don't think I've ever even cast Devils, honestly. This is just like not that good of a pack. I think I'm gonna take the Geist. I've been really impressed with these dual face cards in general. Okay, good. We get past a Bolt. We definitely want to be red to play our uncommon here. This card has been like fine. It's good in like board stalls. We're gonna slam this Bolt. I've been doing best when I get card advantage through the auras or bloods. So okay, so we're still getting some good white cards. Infantry's good. Flame Breather's fine. Lacerate Flesh is also pretty impressive. I think I want to stay out of... Swarm is like okay, but I think we're trying to be more aggressive than that with this card in our deck. I think I'm going to take Infantry here. Keep our curve relatively low. To keep the aura theme, trying to get that advantage. Card advantage with the auras. Okay, Heron of Hope, Trainee, Officiant. And these cards really stand out. I think the best card here is going to be the Taxidermist, which would make our plan being, what, red-green then? But then we ditch our auras. I think I'm just going to take the Trainee. The goal is to keep the curve low, so when we exile the top card, when we play it, we can flip this and have a 2-mana 4/3. It's pretty strong. There's a lot of like really strong bomby cards, and you just don't want to be around for them. Brawler is very good. Slayer's fine too, and Guest is also. I think here I'm okay with Guest. I think it's probably better than Slayer. Okay, so we get a really late Sigarda's Imprisonment here. That's a pretty good pickup, saying that white is going to be pretty open. I don't think it's the best card in the world if you're trying to play late, but I think it's pretty good for trying to get rid of a blocker. I think we're going to take combatants here. I think it's going to be pretty good with this aggressive curve we're currently looking at. Keep getting this like late green, but it's nothing that's really that amazing. I think I'm going to take the ritual in case I kind of want to end up... Actually, how much training do I have? Just trainee. I'm going to take ritual. That kind of splash is probably the most likely to make our deck. Doubles. Just try to thoroughly cut red. Who knows, it might even make our deck. I'll take Disciple. Just in case we end up white, green, splashing red instead of base red, which I'd prefer to be. Almost already looks base white, honestly. That's a fine curve topper in this kind of aggressive deck. Okay, we open up our next pack here. There is a Path to Peril, which is one of the only wraths in the set. I believe there's two, one in white and one in this one right here. We're just going to take our second Visionary and be happy about it. Nothing else really stands out here. Amazing. Retribution's fine. It's not really good in this kind of deck where we want to be attacking. It's better in like a defensive kind of deck. Rather not be. Bleed Dry is a really good card. Statue's fine, but we're trying to be aggressive. I think we're going to take a Shield Basher here or Combatanist. We're kind of fine in the 3-drops. I think I'm going to take our Shield Basher here over like a knife. Maybe it's supposed to be combat. No, I'm going to take a Shield Basher. Okay, so now we're getting paid off for our red. We have a 1-drop here, Menace. Exile 3 cards from graveyard, create a 3/2 wolf. Or we have a Watcher. A 4-mana 4/3 that can ping stuff. This does make combat for our opponent pretty tough. We're going to take the Watcher over the Wolf Rider, I do believe. Okay, so now we're getting tons of white-green, which is what we were kind of thinking could happen. I think we take the trainee here. Really solidify what we're doing is not white-green. I don't think we need to be that, so take it here. We got another trainee or a rescue. I always advocate for having a rescue in this kind of super aggressive deck. We're gonna take trainee, trying to get one rescue later. Having a 1-drop is fine. Having a 1 lantern is fine. Having a flame breather is also okay. I think I'm gonna take a knife here though, because it does add power to our trainees to make it so they can get counters on them. Really get paid off here with a very late Walter, showing us we are in the right colors, even though we have a Grove here as well. There is no other white-red drafter at this table. It's a good sign for pack number 3. Trying to get some more bolts, things like that. I think I'm going to take Escort here over our 4th trainee. Just to get a 1-drop down, and it's also good with the trainees. This kind of deck doesn't mind a Sure Strike or 2, so we're just going to slam that. Probably not going to be splashing black. We're going to try to shoot for, at max, 16 lands. I wouldn't mind 1 or 2 more Sure Strikes. Prefer bolts, things like that, but Sure Strike's also really good. Kind of aggressive deck. Prefer to cut the Pyre and play more 4 drops rather than something that costly. We're going to take the combatants here. That haste is really important. I think we're good on the 3 drops. We're going to take another knife. I don't know how many knives we'd play, but I think there's better 3 drops than that creature. I'm going to just put the Why not? The only time Geist, this specific distracting Geist, is good in my opinion is a deck like this, where you're extremely aggressive. Okay, so open up a black rare, which sadly we cannot fit into this kind of deck. Not too much here is actually really good for us. Purveyor is really strong in, obviously, double colored black. Scab is really good in blue. Wolves or werewolves, that is not us. We are much more human. I think Rallier is probably the best card for us here. I don't even think we particularly need it. I think I'm going to take the Blood Fountain. I think that's probably more likely to make our deck, like as a splash. Here, a million blue cards. And yet again, nothing here is for us. I think these are just 2 unlucky packs in a row, but we shall see. We're going to take the Evolving Wilds as a winner for our land base. Okay, here we have another infantry. Arm the Cathairs is a pretty good top end on this kind of deck. We can cut a knife if we play that. Trying to decide which one's better, Arm the Cathairs or the infantry. I'm kind of leaning toward the infantry. Play as many creatures as possible. Okay. Presence is pretty good here. Adds a lot of pressure. Includes a flyer. Anger's good, but we didn't see any other Angers. I think I'm going to take the Ancestor in case we have to race. Okay, we got a Griff Rider, which I think is also really good in this kind of deck. Epicure, fine 1-drop. Gives us blood to discard excess lands or discard our auras to use on our creatures. Okay, the question is here, is it Blood Betrayal or Adamant Will? Kind of leaning toward Blood Betrayal. I'm 'Cause, 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 ' Gets rid of a pesky blocker. Nothing really here's for us. We will take a wedding invitation. Not much for us here either. And this was the all blue pack. I'm just hoping we get back that sorcery. I think it's a 3-drop. It's like plus a bunch of stuff. I think we took an infantry over it. I don't really regret it. But I would prefer to have that in here. Pack 3 was not as good as I wanted to beat us. Might end up playing like a Devils. Could play Anger, even if it's a 1-of. Yeah, pack 3 was not as good as I wanted it to be. Okay, here we are in match number 1. We go first. We don't really have much of a curve, but we're still going to keep it. We got our end game threats. Not having a 1 or 2 drop is a little bit weird. I'm not the biggest fan. We're like 2-drop central. Right on time was that 2-drop. See what he's got for me. Okay. Solid. Probably should play the trainee, actually. No, because I couldn't have attacked this anyway. Sure. So let's go ahead and get this rolling. Put a counter on our rider, increase that clock. Sure. That was a good one. So here we're gonna target infantry so we can actually get through and target rider as well. I think they should probably swing out and place a big threat. Hopefully we can take this. Maybe swing for the win. You never know. Looks like he's looking to kill that. Maybe stabilize the board a little more. Or not. Who's gonna give it flying? No, it's just gonna keep up a kill spell. Okay, here we're just gonna attack with our flyers. Go to combat. Interesting. I think we lose to 2 kill spells, maybe? Okay, what does he got for us here? Sure. Yeah, so he has lethal. Exactly lethal. Kinda sad. Yeah, we can keep this. We got escort, invitation, guest, and waltzer. Lands are good or creatures are good. Sure. Nice. I think that's going to be a key to this these matches here. That we're just going to keep drawing infantry on 3. Sure. So I think we'll take this chance to get 4 life. I could have done this to make it unblockable. That was probably the smarter play. But now that I haven't done that, is it right to gain 4 life here? I'm gonna go with yes. Next turn we have this kind of stacked up there. Interesting attack. And use the blood on probably nothing, honestly. Probably the next land we draw. Sure. Got a good target for the Bloody Betrayal. See, I'll take some, we're hitting him in the air anyway. So sure, we'll do this. Something gets +2/+0. So I could target itself. Yeah. So target itself. Combat here. This is like the most obvious sure strike I've ever seen in existence, but like you could always not block, but I don't think it's really a winning line. Pets are being pets. Sure. If I draw a land, I can do both these. Wow. Very interesting. So yeah, that was lethal. Just didn't get a chance from sideways. Okay, so we cannot ever draw any of our 2-drops. We have like 6 of them, but I think it's still a keep. Keep drawing this card, so I'm not going to complain. 2 open mana. I think it's guessed here because it gets a value over time when it hits. Reopen mana. I think it's still Waltz. Sure. It's a blood. Very interesting. We need to put as much pressure as possible. I think it's combatants. I think we might be discarding the ancestor. Sure. So here we'll just attempt to steal that. Because even if he like targets that, kills one of our guys. What got through? Okay, end up with a much better curve here in match number 3. We're now 2-1. These matches have been flying by with this Boros aggro deck. And Daytime Combatants is good at doing one thing, and it's ending games quickly. Probably end up playing Ancestor and then putting combatants on the Ancestor. Sure. It's something to do later. Sure. It's rough. Interesting. Okay, so we're taking 6. Man. Eight. 9. So we have 6 left in the deck. Like that. Put you on the... This is the trainee, because I can give it indestructibility after I attack with it. If they been more aggressive here, I think they could have won by now. So 1, 6, 7, 10. You got it, opponent. I don't know what this card is, but I'm just gonna concede and go to the next game. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. Not trying to waste your time, my time, or my opponent's time. We're not winning that game. Yeah, we can keep this. I know that was the wrong order to do things, but if he wants to trade my 1/1 for his 2/1 flyer, I'm cool with it. Biolug. Blue what? Blue what, I ask? Choices, choices. Choice is yours. I think this is just a pass with a... the counter spell up. No counter spell? Okay. No counter spell is really good for us. Oh, it must be a creature. No? Wow. Like the counter. I was thinking it was the counter the creature spell, make a blood. Having nothing there is insane. I think I just slam this. Force him to either have a counter. Oh, that's rough. Really rough. So counters this, gets a 4/4. If I attack all, he blocks this. I don't get any value. Rose, you can have your 4/4. I tend to not play around rares. Maybe I should have thought about Laura's case scenario there. Instead of killing the Drake, maybe I should have just killed this. Thinking about like how I lose. How I lose is he flips this and now there's a wall in front of me. Killing this Drake didn't really matter. I'm not sure what I could draw now that would be that good. The pinger is fine, but not great. Is he attacking here? It looks like he's attacking for 4. Got nothing. I'm not going to trade the Griff for a 1/1. I'm just going to let him play another white creature and then attack me for 4. We need to draw something then. Preferably something that makes blood. Then we can sack it. Sack this land. Discard this land. We did pull it out twice. I think it was actually correct to play if we somehow win this, because I think we're 2-2 right now. If we somehow win this, I'm taking a land out of this deck. Probably just going to be that tap land. And we're going to put in probably the other knife, so that way we can get these trainings on board. Because if I could play a knife attached to this training, attack out, that would be really good. I would put a counter on this. Totally we can't be blocked by the 1/1. I mean, to be fair, it's not like we've drawn that specific land, so it wouldn't have mattered. But still. As a deck that caps at 4, I think that having 15 is not like the craziest thing in the world. Interesting. Nothing has changed. Man. I might just do a second video to today, because I feel like I really messed this one up. I basically just drafted a really aggressive deck, but I keep flooding out, so I just put too many lands in it. So, like, we lost, like, I think we're almost done here in, like, 30 minutes. Like, even if we draw out at this point, we no longer can, like, attack all. Like, he's a 17 life. Like, we're not killing him anytime soon. Now we have to be the control deck, and he's 4 cards in hand. We're just never winning this match. I really wanted to draw a land there, and I'm glad I did, to cement the fact we can't win. Okay, so I think we ended up 2-3 there.